Again, good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Teacher Rafael Aldrin Sinervida, and welcome to my demo teaching. So my subject was Earth and Science, and so let's start na po. So before we formally start our session, I would like you to feel the presence of the Lord, and let us pray together. So thank you so much, everyone. For our attendance for today, I would like everyone to, whenever I call your name, instead of saying present, kindly state your favorite country. So, shall we start now for checking of attendance? So, may I call on Ms. Zapanta?
Japan.
Again, Ms. Zapanta.
Japan.
Okay, next we have Mickey. For our attendance, may I call on Miss C? Kindly state your favorite country.
New Zealand.
Thank you so much. How about Miss Jesus?
South Korea.
South Korea. So next we have Mr. Hita.
Kapun ka. Thailand.
Thank you so much. And then how about Miss Aviso?
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. So next we have Miss Postrero.
Finland.
Thank you so much. Next is we have Miss Yasmin Ann.
Europe.
Medyo choppy si Miss Ann. So can you repeat again, Miss Ann? Ayun. So I think mahina siguro yung signal ni Miss Ann. So last we have Miss Villar. Kindly state your favorite country.
Konnichiwa, Japan.
Ayan. So Miss Villar favorite country is Japan. So since we're done checking our attendance, and I'm glad to see that most of us here are present. So for our classroom etiquette, anyone could please read from the group. Any volunteer from the group to read the classroom etiquette? Yes, Mr. Hita.
For classroom etiquettes, letter D, do always open your cam. Oh, I closed. My camera is closed, sorry. R, respect others. by turning off our mics. I interact at all times. F, focus on what we are doing. T, to look for comfortable learning environment.
Thank you so much for that for reading our classroom netiquette. So for our classroom netiquette, we always remind from from the acronym DRIFT, which is always open your cam and then turning off your mics, and kindly open it if you're told so, or if you want to recite. Then of course, please find for a comfortable learning environment para uh, ongoing pong ating maayos po na tatakbo yung ating klase. Okay, so for our learning objectives for today, at the end of the session, the students are able to, anyone from the group who could read the first bullet? Yes, Miss Villar.
Explain the continental drift theory.
Okay, next one. The next bullet, who are willing to read? Yes, Miss De Jesus.
Express perseverance in working even though you're facing difficulties and hardships.
Okay, for our bullet number 3, who wants to read? How about Miss Aviso? Can you read the third bullet?
Present a brief report explaining the theory with the use of infographics.
Okay, so thank you so much for that, everyone. At the end of the session, the students are able to first explain the continental theory. Next is express perseverance in working even though your difficulties and hardships. And last but not the least, present brief report explaining the theory with the use of infographics. So before we could formally start our discussion, I would like to ask everyone this question. What are the two primary object that we use to easily locate a country? Or the most all-known, the traditional version to locate a country? Anyone from the group? Uh, how about Messiah? Could you please give at least one from the two objects that we use so that we can easily locate a country?
Pwede pong paulit ang tanong, kakapasok ko lang po kasi.
Okay, thank you. So, three objects that we use that easily locate a country or a place.
So, mapa po, gumagamit po tayo ng mapa para ma-locate po ng easily ang mga bansa po.
Okay, thank you so much. So, one of the primary object was map, and the other one is how about Marquez? Any idea one of the object that we're going to use when we want to locate a country?
Pero Google Maps po.
Ayan. So Google Maps, the one is the traditional while the other one is very technological advanced, which is the Google Map. So the two primary object that we use to easily locate a country is one of them is map and the other one is globe. So um the the only thing that we're going to use right now is the map. So one of the object that we're going to use to easily locate uh, a country is a map. So have you ever encountered a map or any experience, or what uh when do you ever encountered the map during your elementary days or you're already in the high school days? An experience about this thing, which is the map? Anyone who give their personal experience? How about Miss Francesca? Do you have any experience, personal experience encountering the map?
Good afternoon po. Can you repeat the question po? Medyo mahina doon may po.
So the question was, do you have any personal experience encountering the world map?
Yes po. I was in elementary.
Thank you so much for that. So for our next activity, so that this activity called Puzzle Me This. Anyone in the group could read the instruction. Yes, Miss Francesca.
Instruction. Complete the crossword puzzle by answering the given description.
Thank you so much. So the instruction was to complete the crossword puzzle by answering the given description. So here's the puzzle. Who wants to answer the first description? Read first the description and then answer. Anyone from the group? How about Miss Aviso? Would you like to answer the first question or the first description?
Hello, teacher. I have no idea po with the first question po. Pasensya na.
Okay, that's okay, that's okay. Anyone from the group? Yes, Mr. Wensi.
And teacher guess lang po. The smallest continent that is also a country is Australia po.
Okay, let's see if Mr. Wensi's answer correct is so that's the correct answer. So the smallest continent that's also a country is Australia. So before we proceed for the next description, I would like to inform everyone that the across is the horizontal line while the down is the vertical line so that you could easily recognize the, the puzzle. So question number 2 is the second largest continent home to the Sahara Desert. Any idea? Yes, Miss Aviso.
Africa po, teacher.
Let's see if your answer is correct. So the number 2 is Africa. The next question is, the next description I mean is the continent that includes the United States and Canada. Anyone from the group? Yes, Miss Aviso.
Try lang po, teacher. North America po.
Let's see if your answer is correct. Tama, North Korea. The correct answer is North Korea, which is it is the continent that includes the United States and Canada. Next one, the continent where the Amazon rainforest is located. So if the Amazon rainforest is located, I hope the country belongs to it is Brazil. Anyone? Where do you think the continent, the Amazon rainforest belongs to? How about Miss Marquez? You have an idea what continent?
Is it
Um,
South America po, teacher?
let's see if your answer is correct. So that's right. Your answer is correct because the continent where the Amazon rainforest is located is South America. So for the description number 5, the coldest continent on the earth. What do you think is the coldest? Miss Aviso?
Antarctica po.
Let's see. That's correct. Antarctica is the coldest continent in the earth. So second to the last description, which is the continent that includes countries like China and India. Yes, Miss Francesca.
Asia po.
See? Correct. That's Asia. And last but not the least, the continent with the countries like France, Germany, and Italy. Yes, Miss Aviso.
Europe po.
Okay, that's right. So these are you already correct the correct answer. So from this activity, I would like to ask you some of question. Uh, what do you think of uh, these words we we found from this crossword puzzle? What do you think we call this? Australia, Africa, North America, South America, Europe, Antarctica, and then Asia. What are these seven words? Any idea from the group? How about Mr. Wensi? Do you have an idea? What are these seven words that we found? How about Miss Marquez? Do you have an idea about the seven words that we found?
Continents, teacher?
Thank you so much. So these seven words we call is the seven continents. So, uh, so some of your countries a while ago that you mentioned from our attendance is somehow located from one of these continents. So the next question is, do you have any comparison between among these seven continents? What comparison do you think you could keep up when you see these seven continents? You could see from their sizes, or you could see the angle of the temperature within these continents. Anything from the group who could create a comparison between these seven continents of the world. About yes, Miss Aviso.
To compare po, we have Asia as our largest continent while Australia as the smallest po.
Thank you so much. So yes, that's right. The Asia is the most largest continent, while the Australia is the most smallest continent. So Miss Aviso compares them through their sizes. How about the others? Do you have any comparison from these seven continents? How about in the temperature? or the climate of a certain place. How about we ask Mr. Saya? Do you have any idea you could compare from these seven continents? How about we ask from one of our observer? Yes, how about Miss De Jesus? Do you have any idea that you could compare from these seven continents?
Um, ano po? I guess po about sa temperature. Ayun nga po, based on the description na rin, Antarctica is the coldest, and I think the Africa continent is also one of the hottest continent, I guess po.
Thank you so much. So that's also a correct answer, no? Antarctica is the most coldest, while according to description, um, from the Africa, which is the largest home of the Sahara Desert, and we all know that the desert described as the most driest place on Earth. So I think it's the most hottest place. So Africa and Antarctica is the opposite when you compare them based on their temperature. Thank you so much for that. For my last question, have you ever wondered how these seven continents made, or have you ever came up in your mind how these seven continents came up and how they will build? Any from the how they built? Anyone from the group that makes them think? Because we all know that we most of us is curious. Any one of you here curious how the seven continents meet? Personal. I've seen Miss Aviso send like, so I think Miss Aviso have something to share. Anything Miss Aviso to share?
Hello po, from what I can recall, ayun, syempre at first, parang curious din how we came up with these seven continents in.
Thank you so much for that. So I think most of us here in the classroom is uh, curious then, like how these seven continents made. Uh, so from here, from our curiosity, along this discussion, I think we're going to answer those curiosity. But first, I would like you to watch this video. Watch this video attentively and please listen carefully because at the end of this video, I have also a few questions to ask.
Take our lead. Let's help you make your mark. Our goal is your satisfaction. Let us show you the way.
The main reason that Wegener's hypothesis was not accepted was because he suggested no mechanism for moving the continents. He thought the force of Earth's spin was sufficient to cause continents to move, but geologists knew that rocks are too strong for this to be true.
Take our lead.
Despite having this geological and paleontological evidence, Wegener's theory of continental drift was not accepted by the scientific community because his explanation of the driving forces behind continental movement, which he said stemmed from the pulling force that created Earth's equatorial bulge or the
Take our lead.
evidence for continental drift. Wegener knew that fossil plants and animals such as mesosaurs, a freshwater reptile found only South America and Africa during the Permian period, could be found on many continents. He also matched up rocks on either side of the Atlantic Ocean like puzzle pieces.
Make your mark. Take our lead.
Pangaea was surrounded by a global ocean called Panthalassa, and it was fully assembled by the early Permian epoch, some 299 million to 273 million years ago. Its name is derived from the Greek Pangaea, meaning all the earth.
Take our lead.
Pangaea. Pangaea, a former supercontinent on the Earth. In the distant past, a large landmass, Pangaea, included all the present continents, which broke up and drifted apart. See plate tectonics.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the bell notification.
So that's ends our video. So let's proceed now for our Q&A. So our first question is, what is the main idea of continental drift? Anyone from the group? If you did really listen from the video. So what is the main idea of the continental drift? Yes, Miss Villar. Any idea?
Sir, based on the video that we've watched, sinasabi po doon na nagsimula po pala sa parang isang, sabi na natin isang bloke, parang single supercontinent po which is Pangaea. And nagkaroon lang po siya na, parang na-move po siya into current position over million years, ganon. Naging, parang kumalat po, na-move lang po siya. Pero dati po buo lang siya. Like, parang block lang po talaga siya before. Thank you.
So that's right. So the main idea of the continental drift theory is from the idea wherein there's only the one land mass which we call the Pangaea or Pangaea, but uh, all throughout the time or for million years ago, it drifted apart or it moving apart away from each other. So the big the large mass the large land mass called is Pangaea, while the ocean covered it was we called Panthalassa. So that's the main idea of the continental drift. So according to the video, what does the Pangaea mean? Anyone from the group? How about Miss Marquez? Do you have an idea what the word Pangaea means?
Is it supercontinent, teacher?
Yes, it's the one of the word that could relate from the Pangaea is the supercontinent. The other one, yes, but it's right. The Pangaea is the also known as a supercontinent. But how about it's the originated word, which is from Greek pan and Gaia. It's a two word means anyone from the group? Yes, Miss Pearl.
Hello po, teacher. I think pan means all po and Gaia means earth or land.
Thank you so much. That's right. So Pangaea is also known from the Greek word means pan, which is all, and then Gaia, which means earth. So
It means Pangea means all earth or all land. Thank you so much for that. So how about what evidences did Wegener use to support his theory? Could you please mention at least one? There are so many. Yes, Miss Francesca.
Yung sa ano po, based po sa naalala ko po, yung nag-support po dun sa claim po niya is yung mga fossils po kasi. Since di pa po yung Pangaea po, parang isang continent lang po siya. Then, nung nahati siya into seven, ano po, may mga natagpuan po kasing fossil sa different na continent. So, isa po yun dun sa nag-support po sa claim po niya na, ayun nga po.
Thank you so much. So one of the evidences that Wegener back up his theory was fossil evidences, which is correct. The next one, any other idea from the group? We already had one. Anyone from the group who could give some of the examples or some of the evidences that Alfred Wegener used to claim his theory? How about teacher Wency? Do you have any idea? How about Miss Francesca? Yes, Miss Francesca, go on.
Ano po siguro, bukod po sa fossil, siguro yung rocks din po na nasa either side daw po nung Atlantic Ocean. Kasi di ba po kanina po parang yung sa na-present yung nga po, para pong puzzle pieces po kasi yung rocks na makikita sa either side po nun. Ayun.
Okay, thank you so much. That's correct. One of the evidences was rock correlation. So some of the rock formation is correlated to some of the coastline of two opposite continents. So uh, that's correct. So maybe from the video, it's not mention everything, but later on we discuss it or we could enrich your knowledge about these evidences. So how about why was Wegener's theories initially rejected? It was already mentioned in the video. So at least uh, or you can give the main idea why Wegener's theory was rejected. Anyone from the group? There's a lot of reason why Alfred Wegener theory was initially rejected, but you could at least mention one or the most known issue about his theory. I think it was mentioned in the video earlier. Anyone from the group who could remember? Yes, Miss Pearl.
I think po one of the reasons why his theory was rejected because hindi niya po na-explain paano po nagmo-move yung mga continent po. So, hindi siya natanggap ng mga tao at that time.
Thank you so much, Miss Pearl, for that answer, and that's correct. So it is the most known issue about his uh, theory, which is Alfred Wegener can't explain the movement of or the mechanism of the theory, which is I think it's the most crucial part for a science is you should explain the question how. but Alfred Watt Jr. can't explain it. So I think that's the reason why some of the scientists initially rejected his claims. So, due to that rejection, and as a scientist who work hard for it, what do you think we need uh, for us uh, if ever now we're facing some struggles and difficulties? What do you think we need to do? Or what do you think we need for ourselves to be able to accomplish even though we are facing this difficulties? Anyone from the group? How about Miss Marquez?
What was the question po again, teacher?
So the question was, what do you need, or what do you need if we are facing difficulties and struggles? Then we need to accomplish those tasks, but we're facing so difficulties. What do you think we need?
Keep on investigating po.
Again?
Maybe we could keep on investigating for more data or information po para ma-overcome po yung difficulty na yon.
Okay, thank you so much. That's right. We need to keep going, investigating, and since we are keep going investigating, what do you think we have when we're still keep doing it, even though we're facing too much struggles? What do you think you have while you're still continuing, even though you are hardships and problems facing along the challenges? So I have seen here at the comment section from Miss Francesca, we have perseverance, which is that's right. So perseverance is one of the most important thing along the facing of our challenges. So any rather than perseverance, do you have any idea? Or that's right, the determination and the perseverance. Okay, so as a student, do you have any your own experience having those characteristics, which is the perseverance and determination? Do you have any personal experience you could share for us that you embody those characters? Anyone from the group? Or anyone from the class who could share? How about Miss Pearl? Do you have any personal experience? Yes, we have Miss Hita.
So ayun, sa perseverance in my experience is kapag may gusto ako makuha, like siguro sa academics na lang, i-example ko yung pagka gusto ko makakuha ng mataas na grades. Gano'n, nagtsatsaga talaga ako na tawag dito, natapusin yung mga requirements na kailangan ipasa na mas maaga pa sa deadline.
Thank you so much. This is a follow-up question. So, since there's two characteristic that was mentioned, which is the perseverance and determination, is there anyone here have idea what's the difference between the two? Yes, Miss Pearl.
I think po, pag sinabi nating perseverance, ibig sabihin, you continue doing hard work despite of the difficulties, the criticism, tas yung rejection na nare-receive mo from other people. While determination naman po, ibig sabihin nun ay committed ka sa mga ideas and sa mga goals mo na gusto mong ma-attain.
Thank you so much. How about Miss Francesca?
Siguro po yung determination po kasi more on commitment po siya na i-pursue po yung goal eh. And then kapag ano naman po, perseverance. Sa perseverance naman po, ano siya, more on continuous na effort and also resilience para ma-overcome yung challenges na nakakaharap. Ganun po.
Thank you so much for that answer. So, tama naman mga sinabi niyo, no? So, the difference between determination and then perseverance, determination is the initial reaction for, for you to be able to complete a goal. However, the perseverance is the continuous process or the continuous characteristics. Determination, if for example you're given task for this day and you're able to finish it, that's all, that's determination. But as continuous, then every time you're given an activity, set of activities, and you continuously doing that, that's called perseverance. The initial reaction and the continuous reaction. So that's the difference between the two. And thank you so much for that wonderful answers. Now let's proceed for our discussion. So my topic for today is about continental drift theory. So the continental drift theory states that Earth's continents were once a single supercontinent called Pangaea, which slowly broke apart millions of years and drifted to their current position. So a while ago, it was mentioned in the video that the continental drift theory came from a supercontinent called Pangaea, which is drifted for million years ago, and now it's currently the seven continents. So additional information from Pangaea, it was for how many years? It was divided into two, which is the Laurasia and the Gondwana land, until it was reached into seven continents, which is we currently seen right now. So the proponent of this theory was Alfred Wegener, which is a German meteorologist. He proposed this theory in 1915. However, it was initially rejected because he couldn't explain how continents move. His ideas were later supported by new scientific discoveries. So it was only initially rejected, but it was also used or the sources to develop new theories. So that was Alfred Wegener, the proponent of the continental drift theory. So here are the evidences supporting the theory. So first, feet of continents, like it was mentioned that the scientists noticed that some of the coastlines of our seven continents was, if you puzzle them together, it is like connected. First is Australia and Antarctica. Geological evidence suggests that these two land masses were once joined and their shapes fit re re relatively. So as you can see at the image that the Antarctica and some of the parts of the seven continents was connected to the Antarctica. South America and Africa, the eastern coastline of South America, especially Brazil, closely matches to the western coastline of Africa. This feat was once one of the first clue that continents were once connected. So these two continents is the first uh, evidence fall under the feet of continents, which is the coastline of Africa and then South America. And last but not the least, North America, Europe, and Greenland, the eastern coastline of the North America and Greenland appears to fit with the northwestern coastline of Europe. So as you can see in the picture, that they really look like fit together if you puzzle them. Next, it was also mentioned a while ago in the video, and it was also mentioned by one of you a while ago. So some of the fossil evidences was found. One of them is the Mesosaurus. So it is a small freshwater reptile found in both Brazil and South Africa. So the fossil of this creature was found in the two opposite continents. But according to the scientists, that these animals is a freshwater reptile. So it is impossible for them to swim in the vast ocean of Pantalasa just to travel. So that's why they came up the idea that the continents was once a connected. Next one is the Glossopteris. It's a kind of a plants which is very impossible to be carried or blown from the ocean. So that's why, and this fossil was to vastly invade some most of the seven continents. And the third one is the uh, Lissostrausus, a land-dwelling reptile fossil found in widely separated continents. Next one is, or the fourth one is the large land-dwelling, the Cynonatus. Reptile found in both regions. It's present in different continents such as that were once connected, as you can see at the image. And last but not the least, the coal deposit in the Antarctica. So we already know that coal is can only build from the warm region or hot region. But the scientists found out in the Antarctica, which is very unusual to see from the product which is need to be developed from the hot region is found in the region which is very cold. So one of the evidences also is the rock and the mountain correlation. Atlas Mountains from Africa and the Appalachian mountain ranges from North America is correlated, or and if you puzzle them out, it's connected. Same goes with the Himalayas, mountain ranges, which is found from Asia, and the Mount Alps in the Europe, and the Rockies from the North America. So this mountain is formed due to different tectonic collisions, but they demonstrated how continental movement creates similar mountain buildings process. Next one, we have the climate evidence. So it was already mentioned a while ago that the glacial deposit is only can be seen from the warm or from the cold region, but the scientists found out in the hot regions. Same opposite with the cold deposits. So that's the reason why most of the scientists found out that our seven continents once is a one large mass, because some of the parts of the seven continents is there's evidences that it's very unusual to see, knowing from their temperature or from no knowing from their temperature and then their
Good afternoon, Teacher Rafa. Time's up na po. Thank you so much. Congrats. Ayun, you may unshare your screen na po, Teacher Rafa. Ayun. Sa mga participants natin, let's give Teacher Rafa a round of virtual applause. Ayan, congrats ulit Teacher Rafa. And then sa mga participants ni Teacher Rafa, sa mga student niya, kindly open your cameras for documentation purposes and para makapag-photo off na tayo. Thank you. And then sa mga observers rin, paki-open yung camera. Ayun, sa iba pa po, paki-open yung cam. Ayun, onti na lang po, nalarga na yung trend. Paki-open po yung camera. Ayan, we may take a picture na po. Pwede rin sa device mo, Raf, mag-take ng picture. Tas dito rin sa akin. Wait lang. Ayan. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much po. Thank you so much sa mga participants ni Teacher Rafa, and ayun po, kakausapin na lang kayo niya after ng gagawin naming post call. Ayun. Thank you so much po sa mga participants. Ayun po, for the evaluators naman po, ayun, sa mga evaluators po, maiiwan po muna yung mga eval. Tapos, remind ko lang po na, ayun, magko-continue and avoid na po tayo, and then, to continue and to avoid lang po yung paggitin po muna natin kasi short na rin po tayo sa time. And then, kapag nabanggit na po ng naunang evaluator sa atin yung sasabihin natin dapat, iba naman po. Ayun po. Thank you so much po. Ayun, start po tayo kay Mr. Ryan po.
Hello, good afternoon po. Naririnig?
Yes po, naririnig po.
So, thank you very much. Congrats po sa demo. Start muna po ako sa, by the way, I'm from chemistry program. Ayan. So, start po muna ako dun sa avoid. So, actually, medyo madami yung avoid natin for this one. So, siguro to contextualize kasi science teaching, kasi science tong subject na to is one of the specialized subjects in high school teaching. So kumbaga may sinusunod na specific practices na dapat nakikita natin sa science teaching. So okay. So actually dapat i-mention ko yung pagbabasa ng objectives kasi sa science I'm not sure kung hindi ito pinopromote sa inyo. Pero sa science, we usually di namin pine-present yung objectives kasi ang pinaka goal ng science is to be inquiry based. So dapat hindi mo binibigay lahat ng information sa student. You let them grow their curiosity as you go on sa discussion mo. So ganun siya, hindi siya kumbaga may prediction, may explanation, then mag-o-observe sila, then mag-explain ulit sila kung anong na-observe nila. So ayun. So una formally is yung sa ating affective objective or yung tama, affective objective. So I think it could have been phrased better kasi parang para sa akin hindi masyadong specific or hindi targeted yung gustong ipalabas nung sa affective or basta gets ko yung thought nung sa affective objective, but it could have been phrased better pa. Ayan. Then next is yung writing guide questions instead of orally saying. So ito context nito is sa science teaching po, no. So mahirap na in-orally say or in-orally state natin yung guide questions kasi minsan nag-iiba kapag binibigkas na natin, unlike kung nakasulat na talaga siya. And sa science, we want to be as objective as possible. So, ayun, gusto natin nakapresent yung guide questions. Ayan. Then next is, ayan, siguro yung modulation of voice, no? Siguro we can improve it to make it more lively para sa mga students kasi napansin ko kanina parang medyo madaming anong tawag doon yung silent pause parang ganon. So parang I think we pwedeng i-improve yon, no, na gawing lively yung modulation ng voice kapag magtatanong, for example. So ikaw let's say si Rafaela, so anong sagot mo dito sa ganito. So parang alam mo yun, yung tono ng voice nakakaapekto rin siya sa engagement ng student kasi yun nga nagbi-build ka ng engagement sa student. So I think ayan, pwede yun ma-improve. And then next is yung sa crossword puzzle. Feeling ko or kung hindi nyo pa alam yung sagot doon sa crossword puzzle. Pero if ang context is nagde-demo talaga doon sa mga high school students, mahihirapan silang mahirapang silang sagutan yun kasi walang choices. 'Di ba? Ang daming question doon sa crossword puzzle. I think 10. Then walang choices. So kung ganun kasi, sobrang daming knowledge na kailangan i-extract ng mga students kasi that's recalling, 'di ba? Alam na nila yung concept na yun, nire-recall na lang nila. So sobrang dami na hindi natin ma-expect lahat ng students na uh, ma-recall yung ganong kadaming concept. So mas better siguro if given na yung choices, tas pipili na lang sila doon kung ano yung pwede nilang mailagay doon sa crossword puzzle na hinihingi. And then next is providing visuals for continents in word puzzle. So, dito naman siguro kasi nasa isang slide lang siya. I think mas okay na nakapag-supplement din tayo ng other visuals. For example, kung nasagot itong Australia, ano kayang itsura ng Australia or something like that para mas alam mo yun, mas nagiging interactive yung presentation natin instead na nasa isang slide lang tayo and then nagtatawag-tawag lang tayo ng mga students. Ayan. Next is napansin ko rin yung avoid using I think. Ayan, no? Kasi science, no? So, dapat hindi siya opinion-based. So, dapat confident na, ito yung concept. So, hindi na natin ginagamit yung I think. Ayan. And then, siguro yung another pa is yung have you ever wonder na question, no? Kasi parang have you ever wonder? Paano kung yes, nag-wonder sila? So, parang hindi ma-achieve, hindi targeted yung question kung ano pang gusto niya talagang ipalabas. So, I think we need to be more specific kapag nag-ask tayo about something, no? Siguro tanggalin na natin yung have you ever wondered. Diretso dun sa mismong question, what is ganyan? Why is ganyan? So, pag have you ever wondered kasi parang it's more on you're giving the students the freedom to think kung ano lang yung gusto nila kasi have you ever wondered lang naman. So yes or no, parang ganun lang siya. So ayun, siguro mas okay na mas targeted yung pagpa-phrase ng mga questions. Ayan. And then for the Q&A, parang ano ba? Kasi sa amin, ino-observe din na hindi dapat maging parang program yung klase. Kasi minsan pag program, okay, next. Di ba sa mga program or mga events, sinasabi yung sequence of events. Like, okay, next, gagawin natin to. Okay, next, gagawin natin to. So, the same way sa Q&A, parang naging ano siya, parang naging program or parang naging event, no? I think mas okay siguro if tinanggal natin yung slide na Q&A. Though yung concept naman ng Q&A, understandable naman. So merong questions, then may answer. Pero yung i-flash talaga natin yung Q&A, parang ayun, sa science, parang hindi natin siya ginagawa. We want the class or the lesson to be as spontaneous as possible. So ibig sabihin parang free flowing lang. So dapat yung every activity na ginagawa natin connected sa isa't isa. So ayun. Next, ayun. So, connected with that is yung unclear sequence of lessons. Kasi, di ba 7 is, tama, naka 7 is yung lesson plan. Ayun. So, naka 7 is yung lesson plan from elicit, engage, etc. Doon sa explain, doon pa lang dapat natin na-reveal yung pinaka-konsepto ng topic natin. Pero nung doon saan yun? Sa word puzzle, I think nakakapag-discuss na agad ng concept. So, I think dapat preserve mo na yon para doon mo i-elaborate doon sa explain mo or doon mo i-expound sa explain mo kung ano yung mga naging sagot nila. Kesa pwede naman i-process yung questions na ito tama to or ito mali to. Pero sana mas preserve natin yung explanation doon ng concept sa mismong explain part na. Kaya siguro mas tumagal din yung time, I think, kasi ayun, yung explain, nakalaan talaga yun sa explanation ng concept. So, dapat mas doon na natin siya nilagay. Ayan. Then, aside from that, I think promoting collaboration din kasi hindi ko sure if hindi kayo like ni-require talaga na magpa-group pero kasi if like nagtatanong lang tayo individually sa mga students, hindi natin masasabi na lahat ng students yun yung opinion niya. Kasi for example, sa isang question, ilan lang naman ang tinawag, let's say isa or dalawa. So yung isang sagot ba yun ng student, representative na yun ng lahat ng klase. So Ganon. So, kung naka-group siya, like, let's say for example, yung class naka-group into three, so pwede kang magtawag ng representative from group 1, group 2, group 3 para isagot yung in that way, parang representative siya of all the opinions or answers nung klase kesa magtawag lang tayo ng tigi-isa per question. Yun, yung transition to the concept of perseverance, I think required din naman talaga yun, yung perseverance na yun. But I think siguro mas naging smooth dapat yung transition from the objective questions about the continental drift theory or yung Pangea papunta dun sa perseverance. So siguro merong dapat linking questions papunta ng perseverance para yun smooth yung transition. Ayan. Then allow students then to read definitions kasi kanina nung papunta ka na ng explain, ikaw na yung nagbabasa ng mga definitions. So mas interactive if you let the students read yung mga definitions na naka-present. And ayun din, siguro improve visuals kasi doon kanina nakikita ko parang hindi na mabasa yung font kasi medyo mataas din yung brightness ng background. So ayun. And ayan, sinabi ko nga rin kanina na sa science teaching, inquiry-based, so dapat students should formulate questions as they go along the discussion. So doon sa discussion, parang hindi nakapag-formulate ng question yung students. Kasi supposedly, after the activity or after the lesson, dapat merong masagot yung students or dapat makapag-formulate sila ng question in their mind and then dapat masagot yun ng discussion. So ayun, dapat siguro pinagtuunan siya ng pansin na kung paano makakapag-create ng questions yung students which you will address after or along the discussion. Ayun po. And then for continue, so ayun, gusto ko naman yung positive reinforcement no sa bawat pagsagot ng mga students. Ayun, commendable naman yon. So isa yon. And then next is the use of video. So yung use of video, isa rin siya sa magandang strategy to teach yung continental drift theory. Kasi nga, hindi naman talaga natin makikita real time kung paano nag-break apart yung mga continent. So, ayun, maganda rin. And another one is yung define or pagbigay ng background sa mga terms. Kasi kanina nasasabi rin natin, kapag nagbigay tayo ng terms, nakakapagbigay na ng supplemental topics for that. So ayun, very good for that. So ayun lang for my comments and ayun, thank you very much. Congratulations po.
Ayan, thank you very much po, Mr. Ryan. Now let's go to Mr. CJ po.
Hello, good afternoon. Naririnig po ako.
Yes po, audible.
Ayan. So, una sa lahat pagbati po kay Mr. Rafael sa kanyang demo teaching. Ayun, nasabi na siguro lahat ni Ryan kasi magkaklase kami. So, I'm from Bisay Chemistry din po. Ayan. So, I think doon muna ako sa sa avoid. Ayan. So, sa naging introduction niya, naging okay naman yung sa recall niya, naging maayos naman yung integrate nung past to new lesson. So ito yung mga sasabihin ko din ay bisang din naman sa rubrics na ibinigay. So ayun, napansin ko agad ang unang-una ko nasulat sa avoid is yung pagsabi ng who can read or willing to read. No, syempre since senior high school yung grade level niya, expected naman siguro lahat na ay marunong magbasa. So instead na sabihin natin yung who can read or willing to read, pwede natin sabihin kindly or please read ganyan the instruction. Kasi ayun nga, lahat naman ng student for sure willing magbasa. Hindi lang sila willing magbasa kapag i-answer na yung sagot, no? So ayun, ano pa ba? Tapos sa guide ko ayun yung sa unang activity yung sa crossword, meron lang ako napansin na isa lang naman, I think yung hindi na correct yung mali agad ay hindi ko sure kung mali ba yun or hindi, yung sa North Korea kasi ang nakalagay sa PPT niya ay North America, so ang nasabi ng student ata ay North Korea ganyan. So nag-agree agad si teacher kahit na wrong yung sagot niya, kahit na yung nakalagay sa PPT niya ay North America. So, sana mas na ano lang yun, mas na, kumaga na napansin agad. Ayun. And then, ayun, check if the answer are correct before agreeing, ganyan. And then, ayun, guide questions should be posted on the PowerPoint, including sana din yung expected answers for the comparison din. So, students should also have a minute to think before answering the question. So, I think meron naman, nabibigay naman yung time na yun para makapag-isip yung students na makasagot. And also yun din, yun nga yung sa Q&A na dapat ma-post talaga yung mga question para they can remember kung ano yung kailangan nilang sagutan at hindi nila makalimutan. And then um, yung essential question, isa yun sa naging strength mo din naman. Kaya lang tama yung nasabi nga ni Ryan kanina yung have you ever wondered, ayun. So I think mas okay kung hindi naging specific nga. And then um nakatulong din naman yun para to guide yung magiging discussion mo. And then also feeling ko masyadong mahaba yung sa recall mo or yung sa engage mo. Kaya siguro naubusan tayo ng time pero okay lang yun. Pero sana next time um, yung recall or engage natin mas ma-maximize natin yung time or hindi siya ganun kahaba. And then also napansin ko yung creative na paraan na ginamit mo sa attendance check na uh, na related sa lesson mo. So maganda yon. And then ay nakadagdag yun sa engagement ng klase. And naging maganda rin yung transition patungo dun sa discussion. And ito, dahil natapat ka sa online na klase, so maganda sana kung mas naging interactive yung discussion natin kung gumamit tayo kunwari ng mga digital tools tulad ng Padlet, if alam niyo yung Padlet na yon. So doon sa Padlet pwedeng ilagay nila yung mga sagot ng students so that sa way na yon is makita nila yung iba't ibang perspective or sagot ng mga kaklase nila. And para magamit din nila yun doon sa magiging discussion teacher. So overall naman, naging maayos naman yung daloy ng pagtuturo mo. The way you talk, yung clear ka naman magsalita and wala ka naman masyadong mga unnecessary words na nagagamit. And then, ayun, maganda yung naging classroom strategies mo din. And siguro kaunting adjustment lang talaga when it comes sa engagement techniques and sa digital tools, lalo na kapag sa online ka natapat. And ayun, upang para mas lalo pang mapahusay itong demo teaching natin, of course, sa mga future pa. And yung sa learning experience, yung magiging learning experience ng mga estudyante. So ayun, yun lang po yung akin. Pagbati ulit po sa natapos niyo pong demo teaching. Ayun po. Thank you po.
Ayan, thank you so much po for that wonderful insight and siksik na insight. And marami pa pong matututunan yung mga susunod na demo teachers sa science. And thank you rin po Mr. Ryan and Mr. CJ for being the evaluator of Teacher Rafa po.